Siya Kolisi, a name synonymous with South African rugby, a captain who led his nation to glory, a man who inspired millions, and a symbol of hope for a nation once divided. But how did he get to this point? Join me as we delve into the extraordinary journey of this simply remarkable individual and uncover what they didn't tell you about Siya Kolisi. Born in 1991 in Zwaide, Port Elizabeth, South Africa, Siya's upbringing was shaped by adversity. His mother Fakama was 16 when Siya was born, and his father, Fezakele, was in his final year of school. At the time, although apartheid had all but ended, social and economic inequalities persisted, and as a result, many black people continued living in disadvantaged settlements on the outskirts of cities and towns where they had limited employment opportunities and schools were under-resourced. Siya, along with his mother and siblings, lived in a society plagued with poverty, crime and violence.
This is the Cape Town you don't see on postcards, full of despair and disappointment.
In 2002, at 11 years old, he joined a local rugby team, which provided him with a crucial positive role model in headmaster and coach Eric Songwichi. Rugby became an escape for Siya, offering him a sense of community and purpose. His raw talent was evident from a young age, and a year later when he was 12, he impressed scouts at a youth tournament in Mossel Bay and was offered a scholarship at Grey Junior in Port Elizabeth. He was subsequently offered a rugby scholarship at one of the nation's top sporting high schools, Grey High. But at just 15 years old, Siya's mother tragically passed away, leaving his late grandmother Nolulamile to raise him. Despite this, Kolisi was a regular member of the first 15 high school rugby team and was also a part of the Eastern Province Kings youth setup between 2007 and 2009 before switching to the Western Province. As well as this, he represented the South African national under-18 rugby union team for 2 consecutive years. Following an impressive stint with the Western Province youth setup, Siya was called up to the South Africa under-20 national side ahead of the 2010 Junior World Championship. In the tournament, he scored 2 tries as South Africa finished 3rd. Following this great display on the international stage, Kolisi made his debut for the Western Province senior side against the Golden Lions during the 2011 Vodacom Cup, a domestic competition featuring 14 South African teams, 1 Namibian team and an Argentinian team. In that summer, he was called up to the South Africa under-20 national side again as they competed in the 2011 Junior World Championships where they finished 5th. Later in that year, that call-up gave him the opportunity to make regular starts in the Currie Cup domestic rugby competition, South Africa's premier domestic club rugby union league. This was where he really began to prove himself, as that season, he made 13 appearances and scored 4 tries during the campaign, including a crucial score against bitter rivals the Blue Bulls. And the next year, 2012 saw Kolisi graduate to the Stormers squad, who were in Super Rugby at the time, and he made an immediate impact with 16 appearances during the season, where he also scored a try. However, the second half of the year was not so kind to Siya, as a thumb injury restricted him to just 1 appearance in the 2012 Currie Cup, and he had to watch him from the sidelines as his side, the Western Province, lifted the trophy for their 33rd Currie Cup title. Kolisi returned with a bang the following year and held his place in the Stormers side despite fierce competition among the loose forwards. He would better his numbers from the season prior, scoring 2 tries in 13 appearances. This output for a 21-year-old forward at an elite level was starting to make waves, and as a result, this earned him his first senior international call-up. On the 15th of June 2013, Siya Kolisi made his debut for the Springboks, being called up for their game against Scotland at the Umbombela Stadium in Nelspruit. He was named on the bench that day, but just 5 minutes into the match, fellow flanker Arno Botha was forced off due to injury and was replaced by none other than Siya himself.
I'm sitting here with goosebumps. Here's Willie LaRue, first touch for him in his second international. Kolisi.
Being forced to come on that early into your debut is a nerve-wracking experience in itself, but despite this, he was named as man of the match as South Africa won 30-17. Simply remarkable. He would go on to make 9 further substitute appearances during the 2013 international season, as he firmly established himself as a regular member of the squad. Being part of the Springboks setup for the 2013 Rugby Championship meant he only played in Western Province's final 3 matches of the 2013 Currie Cup and was powerless to prevent them from slipping to a surprise 33-19 home defeat to the Durban-based Sharks in the final of the competition. Kolisi would return stronger than ever the next season as he scored 2 tries in 10 matches as the Western Province won the newly formed 2014 Currie Cup Premier Division. The next season, the Western Province would be unable to retain the title as they lost to the Gordon Lions in the playoff final. Siya continued to be a mainstay in the Springbok side as he took part in both the 2014 and 2015 Rugby Championship, where South Africa finished 2nd and 4th. Kolisi would only feature in 2 matches for South Africa in the 2015 Rugby World Cup against Japan and Samoa as the Springboks finished 3rd. Under head coach Alistair Coetzee, the Springboks were a shadow of their former selves. I think the best way to sum them up would be consistently inconsistent. Where they should have been competing against Australia and the All Blacks for the Rugby Championship, they were comfortably finishing 3rd or even 4th. And no one can ever forget in September 2017 when the All Blacks demolished the Springboks 57 points to 0. As a result of these shocking performances, South Africa's rugby governing body SA Rugby appointed Rassie Erasmus as head coach of the national team, alongside his duties as director of rugby. And on the 1st of March 2018, he immediately decided to appoint Siya Kolisi as the new Springbok captain, a landmark decision that would change the course of rugby history.
Congratulations on being named
Interestingly, the Springboks weren't the only team Siya was captain of, but instead the second, as a year prior on the 20th of February 2017, Kolisi was selected as the new captain of the Stormers, where they made it to the quarterfinals of Super Rugby, losing out to the Chiefs. The next season wouldn't be as successful as they failed to make it to the quarterfinals, but despite this, Siya's leadership experience would begin to show with the Springboks. In his debut international competition as captain of South Africa, they finished 2nd in the 2018 Rugby Championship with 3 wins and 3 losses. The 2019 season was more or less the same for the Stormers as they failed to make it to the quarter-final, and to make matters worse, Siya's season was cut short after he sustained a knee injury in May. As a result, he was unavailable for the 2019 Rugby Championship. He watched on from the sidelines as the Springboks win their first rugby championship. Even though he was unable to play, his positive influence on the side was beginning to show as the Springboks geared up for the 2019 Rugby World Cup in Japan. South Africa went into the tournament as one of the favourites, but despite losing to the All Blacks in their opening game, they made it out of their pool and into the quarter-finals, where they knocked out host Japan. After narrowly beating Wales in the semi-final in Yokohama, they were 80 minutes away from making history. Facing a strong England side in the final, Siya had to make the team believe one more time, and that's exactly what he did. As the Springboks beat England in emphatic fashion, 32 points to 12, to claim the coveted Webb Ellis Trophy. This was South Africa's 3rd World Cup win, and Siya Kolisi made history, being the first black captain of a World Cup winning side. Siya returned to the Stormers to complete the domestic Super Rugby season due to the pandemic, where they finished 2nd. With the South African sides withdrawing from Super Rugby the next season, Siya decided to consider his options, and after a decade with the Western Province, he embarked on a new chapter with the Durban-based Sharks. Kolisi was a marquee signing for the Sharks, following the successful majority share purchase by MVM Holdings in February of 2021. That summer, Siya had the opportunity to captain the Springboks for the Test series against the British and Irish Lions, where they came back from an opening loss to take the series 2-1, courtesy of the boot of Moen Steyn in the 78th minute of the third and final match. Siya spent only 2 years with the Sharks, where he scored 4 tries, and on the international stage, the Springboks continued to go head-to-head with the All Blacks for the Rugby Championship. In January of 2023, Kolisi signed for top 14 French league side Racing 92, joining them after the Rugby World Cup later that year. Though they finished second to the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship, as World Cup holders, the Springboks were still seen as one of the favourites to win the tournament in France. They finished second in their pool, making it through to the knockouts, with their only loss coming against a formidable Ireland side. In the quarter-finals, they narrowly beat host France 29 points to 28. And in the semis, they once again narrowly beat England 16 points to 15. And just like 4 years prior, the Springboks found themselves in another World Cup final against their bitter rivals, the All Blacks.
For the 2023 Rugby World Cup.
In one of the most intense Rugby World Cup finals ever.
Disaster for New Zealand again, and it's the same old captain has been yellow carded. Siya Kolisi inside Aaron's. It's a bit there, it's great work. Talia who gets away from one, and
the Springboks narrowly came out on top, winning 12 points to 11. This marked back-to-back Rugby World Cups for the Springboks, becoming only the second nation in rugby union history to do so. As well as this, the Springboks won their 4th World Cup in their history, making them the most successful rugby union nation ever. Kolisi himself became one of 44 players to win the Rugby World Cup on multiple occasions, and one of 25 South Africans to do so. Following this international success, Kolisi stayed in France, where he made 18 appearances for Racing 92, scoring a try. After just 1 season into a 4-year contract, Kolisi rejoined the Sharks, with the French club agreeing to terminate his deal. Now back to his native South Africa, I personally can't wait to see how Siya will get on in his second stint with the Sharks. In his personal life, Siya Kolisi is married to Rachel Kolisi, and the couple have 2 children. In June 2024, after 4 years in the making, he released a documentary on his life titled The Rise of Siya Kolisi, where he revealed he nearly lost his wife due to an alcohol addiction, which he fortunately managed to end because he wanted to break the circle of alcoholism in his family and doesn't want his son Nicholas to drink like he did. Then, he also recounted an incident where his father showed up intoxicated at one of his games, only to be escorted out by security. Kolisi is also a vocal advocate for social justice and racial equality in South Africa. In response to the pandemic in South Africa, Kolisi and his wife launched the Kolisi Foundation in 2020. The foundation aims to change the narratives of inequality in the nation, focusing on gender-based violence, food insecurity, and education and sport. Siya Kolisi is still at the peak of his playing career. He continues to lead the Springboks with passion and determination. Beyond rugby, Kolisi is a role model for many, inspiring young people to chase their dreams and fight for what they believe in. Having just won his 2nd Rugby Championship with the Springboks, it will be exciting to see what the future holds for this remarkable rugby player and leader. Siya Kolisi's story is one of triumph over adversity. He is a symbol of hope and inspiration, not just for South Africa, but for the world. From humble beginnings to becoming a sporting icon, he has shown us the power of dreams and the importance of never giving up. His legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. But what do you think about Siya Kolisi? Is he the greatest Springbok of all time? Put your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. With that all said and done, it's been your boy John Talks Rugby, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click on screen now to see the story of the All Black legend who was also a professional boxer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.